Hey guys, this is going to be a review of Season 2, Episode 2 of Rain called Drawn and Quartered, and I was just looking to see when the last time I actually did a video review of Rain was, and it was back during Season 1. I mean, this is only the second episode of Season 2, but it was episode 10, I think. It's been like 8 months since my last Rain review, which is partly because of the season break, obviously, but it was like less than halfway through season 1, I think, so, or at least around the halfway point. So it's been a really long time, and I'm going to try to do more video reviews for the second season because I did like none for the second half of season 1. So we're going to start with that now. But I have reviewed all of the episodes over on my blog if they're not here, by the way, if you're interested in that, including the first episode of season 2 I reviewed on my blog last week. But anyway, this episode starts off with like tons of bodies everywhere of people who died from the plague, and that ended much quicker than I was expecting. Obviously, I know some things about the plague that I've learned in school over the years, but I don't know the specifics of the plague, and so I'm not entirely sure how long outbreaks of the plague last, but I've always thought that they're relatively long. That's always just been the impression I get, and this show kind of made it seem like it happened really fast because there's no like specified time jump, so I'm not really sure what the time span of this was, how long, I don't know how long the first episode was supposed to take place. Like, it was a pretty short amount of time, I'm almost positive. If there was like a time jump between the two episodes, but it didn't really seem like there was, so I'm a bit confused as to how long the plague realistically would have lasted and how long it actually lasted on the show. So, because it was a very quick thing, it happened very quickly, and I was kind of expecting it to be carried out longer than it was, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing that it wasn't either. I'm going to show how terrible I am with names. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce Francis's cousin's name. Obviously, I heard it pronounced last night, but I'm terrible at actually remembering names, so I had to look it up. And it's Conde, and it's highly likely that that's a French name, and I can't speak French, and I don't know how exactly it's pronounced, like Conde or Condi, or if it's something is silent or something. I have no idea how to say it. But he came to the castle along with again, I can't even remember how to say it, Narcissus or Nars something, I don't know, but I kind of find his name hilarious because it's so similar to Narcissist, and that just seems very fitting for him, so I really like that name choice. But they're both at the castle now. I'm not sure how long they're going to be sticking around, but I really, really like Francis's cousin. I hope that he ends up being trustworthy. I'm always pretty untrustworthy of characters when they show up in Rain because so many of them end up being terrible, but I really like Francis's cousin so far, and I really hope that he sticks around for a while. And I'm wondering, they mentioned his, I don't know, he made it, the Narcissus guy made it seem like it was his religious views that were controversial, is the term. But in reality it's kind of more his political views because he's Catholic, which is the religion of the monarchy, but he doesn't want the Pope involved in the governing of France, which is funny to me because they're talking about how that's such like they're like such a terrible view for him to have, like it's dangerous for him to have those views, when in reality he still believes that the king has a right to rule. So looking at it from a modern kind of perspective, it's funny that they're arguing with each other about that. But anyway, I wonder if that will come into play later, like if that will get him in trouble, but I hope that he sticks around because I think that, and I just really hope that he's trustworthy. I just really hope he's not like secretly against the monarchy and plans to like kill them or something, because that would really suck because I like him so far. I really love how Francis's relationship with his son is like developing. I think that that's really cute, and I really like how he's very conscious of the fact of what being illegitimate did to Sebastian, and like he doesn't want that for his son, and I really like how he's aware of that and how he doesn't want that to happen. One thing, like, I love Francis and Sebastian's friendship and like relationship and everything, and I love them so much, and that was really great in this episode too. But I really like how he's very conscious of that when it comes to his own son too, and he doesn't want that. Cameron died, but as I was saying, I'm just really excited that the kid is going to be sticking around, because it means an adorable baby and making like at least somewhat regular appearances, I'm going to assume, and I'm really excited about that. It may create some drama, but I really like how that's going. I think about the Narcissus guy. I really wish I knew how to pronounce his name correctly, but I like didn't expect for him to show up, at least not so soon, and like try to avenge his son's death. But it also like is not at all surprising that he did. It wasn't so much that I didn't think that that would happen, I just wasn't really expecting it in this episode. I don't think, like, I kind of expected it would happen at some point, but that was like, I don't know, what was I gonna say? I had multiple things to say about that, now I can't remember them all. I do know Mary goes to talk to him in private when she knows that he knows that she was responsible. And I just think it takes a lot of guts to just walk into the chambers of a guy who kind of wants you dead. So that was kind of impressive on her part. Since Francis only became king at the very end of last season and then was away from the castle the entire last episode, this was the first episode where we really got to see him like be king and like actually do things. And I thought that was really fun, and I really look forward, like, obviously him and Mary are both still like really figuring out what they have to do, and they really have like no idea what they're doing, and I am really looking forward to that in the future. And I just really, for some reason, I'm not even entirely sure why, I just really love watching Francis be king and everything, I guess because that was kind of building up to that in past seasons. Like, I really wasn't expecting Henry to die as fast as he did, but obviously, like, I don't know, it's just fun to have them finally be king and queen, and I'm enjoying watching that. I also think that this was the first time that we had Mary and Lola interacting in quite a while, I think, and I really love that as well in the show. Obviously it's awkward, which is understandable, but I really like how Mary and Lola both really are trying, like they want to stay friends even though it is awkward, and I really enjoy that. There's also a scene where Mary confronts Francis and asks him why he had to sleep with her lady of like everyone, and I really like how she asks Francis that, but it's Francis she asks as opposed to Lola, instead of like the kind of stereotypical thing like I could think in other, like in a very stereotypical kind of story where she would attack Lola and like blame Lola and like ostracize her and everything like that, and she hasn't done that, and I really like that. Like, obviously she's very upset about it and she says that to Francis, but she's like not really entirely, even though she does say that to Francis, she's not really like holding it against him, especially by the end of the episode, and she really is, I think, trying to like forgive them both and like move on. And even though obviously it's really difficult and it's hard for her, and I really like that, and I really like that she is trying to maintain a relationship with Lola even though it's a difficult situation. And Mary goes and talks to a priest who tells her that Narcissus or whoever is involved in murdering a cardinal, and he knows that because he committed, or he said so in confession, so it's not like valid evidence. And I just have to say, I was thinking about this, so like my favorite scene from season 1 is still the scene where Catherine is in confession, because I just find it hilarious. Like, she's admitting to hurting people and killing people and everything, and then she's all eager to get like her penance so that she'll be free from sin and she doesn't have to feel guilty and everything. And obviously now we have this guy admitting in confession to murdering someone to get rid of the Sid. And it's just really amusing to me how in this show, like, everyone just does all these horrible things and then they all go to confession and just like brush it off. I'm just kind of like, well, maybe you could stop killing people, because like Catherine, especially back in season 1, was like really eager to get her penance, because like she was really excited in that scene. It was just kind of like, it's really amusing to me. And then we have Nostradamus. Oh god, I just had the word. He's accused and everything, and going to be quartered, which is terrifying. And I was kind of freaking out when they were showing that. Like, I didn't think that they would actually show anything that bad, but it was very difficult to watch that knowing what was coming. But I felt so bad for him, because obviously, like, it's as much Mary's fault as it is his, but yet he was the one who was going to die. And I felt so bad for him in that moment because no one was saying anything, and Catherine goes to visit him and yells at him, and I really, really loved that scene, and I really loved how it was done. And that might have been I can't say it was my favorite scene in the episode, but it was definitely up there. Like, I really liked it, and I really like how they handled the quartering scene too, even though it didn't actually happen. Like, I don't know, there was just something about that felt like really tense, and I was having trouble watching it because like I could feel what was coming, even though I didn't think that they'd actually show it or they'd actually die. Like, I still kind of felt the emotion like as if it was, and I just didn't want to watch it happen. So really love watching Mary and Frances work together, because it's just always really awesome to see them like coming up with plans together and then playing it out. And the evil guy, whose name I'm no longer going to try to pronounce, gets Leith's land, and I'm so sad. And Frances's line about how they saved France or whatever, but he had to betray a friend, I'm so sad. And we don't get to see Leith's reaction after like the immediate reaction in this episode. And I just realized that I didn't talk about Greer and Leith at all, because they were in this episode quite a bit, and I didn't talk about that. I didn't talk about Greer's fiance leaving, but I'm really excited about that because I think that means more Greer and Leith. But sad because it's kind of sad, but like, I liked the guy, but he kind of seemed like a jerk at the very end, so I'm okay with him leaving. And I'm really excited to see what happens with Greer and Leith, because I love them, but for some reason with everything else in this episode they felt kind of overshadowed, so I didn't really think to write anything about them down in my notes, except for Leith getting his land taken, which I'm really, really, it's so sad. Like, I feel like if anyone deserves that, like, deserves awesome things in this show, it's Leith. And now he's getting his land taken, and I'm just really upset about that. And I feel so bad. I don't, that definitely got me more than anything else in the episode. After resisting the entire episode, Sebastian finally says that he will be Frances's deputy, and I'm really, like I said, I already mentioned in this episode how much I love their relationship, and that made me really happy. I'm really happy that he, like, named Sebastian. It's a very, like, with Sebastian being illegitimate but older, it would be, like, so easy for them to be distrustful of each other, for Frances to be worried that Sebastian would try to steal the throne or something and therefore want to keep him at a distance, but he doesn't do that. And like, obviously they've had a bit of tension with that in the past, but I'm just really, really happy about that, and it made me really excited. But I think, yeah, now there are two more things. Mary tells Frances that she wants him to acknowledge the kid and give him his name, and that made me really happy. Like I said before, it makes me really excited that Mary really, really is trying to be, like, okay with it. I don't know if okay is the right word, but she is definitely trying to, like, move on, and she wants Frances to have a relationship with his son and everything, and she even said that she wanted Frances to give the kid his name so the kid would be protected. Like, she's actually, like, worried about the kid's welfare, And I'm not entirely sure if that's more for the kid itself or for Lola or for Frances or for a combination of the three, but I just really like that she's trying to make the best of the situation and the best for everyone and not get like really bitter about it. She says she doesn't want to be like Catherine, which I think is very understandable. And since she does have like Catherine as a reference, she knows that she doesn't want to be like that, and so she's trying not to be, and I really like that, and I'm really happy that he's going to give the kid his name and everything. But then at the very end we have the nurse talking and as if she's Henry and saying that she's his father and everything, and that was weird. I feel like this is going to be the equivalent in season 2 of the Clarissa storyline in season 1, and I just remembered that Catherine kind of found out that Clarissa's still alive in this episode, and I completely forgot about that. I'm excited about that, and I'm excited for the return of Clarissa because it's been quite a while since we've seen anything with her. But anyway, back to Henry. I feel like the whole, like, is there a ghost in the castle, and then it wasn't, it was Clarissa, so I don't think that this is really something supernatural because Clarissa wasn't something supernatural. The only really like non-magic-y kind of alternative to that is that the servant is crazy, which I guess is an option, but seems kind of like a weird storyline to go down. But I guess it'll be really interesting to see what happens with that. But I think that's all that I have to say about this episode. I don't know if I'll review the next episode on my blog or on here or what, but I will try to do another video review relatively soon, like within the next few episodes at least. So I will see you guys later. Bye.